It's 10 a.m. on the East Coast. It's 5 p.m. in Gaza, where Reuters reports an Israeli airstrike has killed a senior Hamas armed commander. Now, civilians in the region are bracing for an expected ground offensive. Today, President Biden will head to Israel to meet with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Biden is also set to visit Amman, Jordan, and talk with other key leaders in the region.
This comes as Israel launches more strikes against Gaza, hitting a residential section in the south near the border with Egypt. That's where Israel's army told Palestinians to go after evacuating the north. Meanwhile, northern border with Lebanon, Israeli forces continue to clash there with Hezbollah. Our Haley Ott is following the very latest for us from Jerusalem, and she joins us now. Haley, let me first ask you about that strike in southern Gaza. What is the Israeli government saying, if anything, about why they would target an area that they told civilians to go to?
We're getting limited information about the strikes that Israel is carrying out in Gaza. What we do know is from our reporting there largely, one of our producers who's on the ground there was driving around in southern Gaza when he was about 100 feet from an airstrike. And some of the footage he captured is truly disturbing. He saw people who were killed. He saw people who were wounded. There aren't enough ambulances, he says. People are just trying to rescue people by hands. And that is in the south of Gaza, where people have been told to go to escape these airstrikes. And obviously, there are people gathered there who are really struggling. There's a humanitarian crisis looming, and we're getting all the information that we can while not being allowed in largely ourselves, while relying on our local producers and other reporting from there.
So let's talk about Jerusalem. What's the situation there? You know, we talked about this before, but there is a significant Palestinian Muslim population in Jerusalem.
I'm in East Jerusalem now. That is a Palestinian area of Jerusalem, and things here have been very tense. People I speak to every day, I ask how they're doing, and they say they're staying home if they can. They're avoiding going out because really any run-in with the Israeli police, potentially, things are so tense, they could escalate into violence very quickly. Where I'm standing right now is Damascus Gate. It's usually a popular area to hang out, and it's a beautiful evening. People would normally be sitting here and socializing. That's forbidden now. People aren't allowed to sit here at Damascus Gate, and that's just an indication of how tense the situation is here in this city.
As you know, President Biden is preparing to head to Israel today. Haley, what sort of message do you understand that the administration hopes to send this visit?
Yes, the president will be arriving tomorrow, and his visit is intended to communicate what the U.S. has been communicating all week, which is that it stands behind Israel. Biden is set to be briefed by top Israeli officials on their war strategy and aims, and then also how Israel intends to minimize civilian casualties while also enabling some sort of humanitarian assistance to civilians in Gaza that doesn't benefit Hamas. But a visit by an American president at this time is an incredibly strong message of support for Israel, and that is useful at a moment where people are really concerned that this crisis could really escalate regionally.
And Biden will then travel to Jordan, where he will meet with King Abdullah, Egyptian President Sisi, and the Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas. This sounds like a pretty significant meeting to me. I don't think you can stabilize the region without having buy-in from these three leaders. What will they be focusing on?
Absolutely. That will be part of it, is stabilizing the situation, de-escalating it, and then also the absolutely necessary humanitarian aid and its ability to get into Gaza. The Rafah crossing is the crossing that aid is trying to get through now, that goes into Egypt. So opening that crossing requires Egypt's buy-in, and it requires some regional buy-in, and also negotiations to secure some sort of ceasefire so that that aid can be safely brought in. And then also leaders are hoping foreign nationals, people with other passports, can get out. There are about 600 Palestinian Americans, it's believed, currently in Gaza. So that will be something that is definitely on the agenda for that meeting.
Haley, as you pointed out at the top of our chat, one of our producers was on the ground in southern Gaza. You say he was just about 100 feet away when those airstrikes and those bombs and missiles landed. It's incredibly important that we have eyes on the ground to tell this story, as you know. And so, first of all, thank him for us, because without his reporting, I know for you and for the rest of our crews that are in Israel and in and around the region, we wouldn't be able to do this kind of reporting. So it's incredibly important. And as you know, 15 journalists have already been killed in this conflict. But what is he and others telling you about the situation in Rafah at this very moment?
He's been at the Rafah crossing. He's been talking to people trying to get through. The situation that they've been hearing, potentially it could be opened for a few hours this day or that day, and so far nothing has materialized. People who have been sleeping there hoping for one of those openings have lost hope and have returned back to wherever they were staying. Many have come from the north or are staying somewhere wherever they can find shelter. But as these bombings continue, it's just an incredibly dangerous situation for everybody. Our producer was driving to go visit a hospital when he was, came so close to an airstrike. That's just one example of how dangerous this is. Gaza is such a crowded, compact place. People really live very, very close together. So these strikes are impacting everyone, civilians, all the time as they continue.
Haley Ott with the reporting from Jerusalem, East Jerusalem. Haley, thank you very much. We appreciate you as always. Well, John Kirby, the National Security Council's coordinator for strategic communications, says the U.S. wants people fleeing their homes in Gaza to eventually be able to return. He spoke about this and the process of getting humanitarian aid to the region earlier on CBS Mornings.
We're working this very, very hard. Secretary Blinken was in 7 hours of meetings yesterday with Israel's war cabinet to try to work on a framework to get that humanitarian assistance in. And we believe we made some progress on that score, and that hopefully soon there will be some humanitarian assistance, food, water, medicine, getting into the folks that live in Gaza, as well as trying to make some arrangements for folks who want to get out safely. So we believe significant progress was made. There's nothing flowing right now, but we're confident, we're optimistic that situation will change soon.